Yo, what's good, everybody? I'm gonna have the beers with Barton. It is Monday, April 24th, 2023, and back to reality today. So, wanted to give a little bit of a story of how I spent my weekend. One note is everything I say in this video is 100% real. It is not exaggerated at all. This is exactly how it happened. And number two, I got not a special request, some commentary back from one very specific subscriber that the only reason why he watches these, he doesn't care what I talk about or ramble on about. He just wants to know if the beer is a sipper, is a drinker, or a guzzler. So got to make sure we're bringing that back. But this weekend, went camping, had a great hike plan. So the original plan was to camp out on Friday night, get up on Saturday, and do this hike in Mount Mitchell. There were 6 total peaks to hit. It was a total of 7 miles one way, 7 miles back, about 6,500 feet in elevation for a total of 14 miles. Cool. So we thought we'd get rolling. And usually if you're hiking and you're moving at a decent pace, you can cover about a mile, about every 30 minutes. So you figure 3.5 hours in, get to the top, maybe hang out for an hour, eat some lunch, have a beer, 2 or 3, and 3.5 back. So 8 hours, cool, no big deal. So that's kind of what the plan was. More on that later. So we did leave on Friday. I drove over to my buddy, the head brewer at the farm on Friday, about 10 o'clock, loaded up the stuff I had into his car. His brother had come down from Pennsylvania to join. Drove out to Hickory, just about an hour or so about halfway to our campgrounds. Grabbed some lunch. Buddy Trevor met, another buddy Rob met. Had some lunch, hung out, head to the campsite. We all set up. It was good. It was a nice day. A little chilly, but not cold or anything. Ate some good food, had some drinks, probably too many beers and probably a little bit too much bourbon since we had a 14-mile hike the next day. But we had a great time. Probably went to bed about 11:30, 12. Well, the rain was supposed to come in Saturday anywhere between 2 to 4 in the morning and go till 10 or 11 that same morning. So we figured the first couple hours of our hike, we'd be in some rain, potentially be very cold, but it should pass out. So the rain definitely came. It woke everybody up, I'm sure. Thunder, lightning, a ton of rain. But we all got up about 7:30 Saturday morning, and it was still raining, but it was more drizzle at this point, so it already felt like it kind of moved, a little overcast. Had a really good hearty breakfast. Everyone packed up their hiking bag, which, drinks, some food, extra clothes, all that good stuff you need on a 8-hour hike. And we headed out about 9 o'clock, and then we drove about 15, maybe 20 minutes to the trailhead. Made sure we were good to go. It was really cold up there. It was like 30, maybe 38 when we started. So we got going. We moved. Very overcast. Couldn't really see anything when you're at the peak. And it was very, very windy. A little bit of rain. It wasn't hard rain, but it was definitely enough. You felt it at times, but it was just the wind and the temperature made it pretty brutal. So we're hiking, we get to the first peak, Mount Craig. It's cool. You're looking, can't see anything, but it's still, you're high up. Trek along another mile or two and a mile and a half, and it was Big Tom. Hit that. It's great. Everything's cool. Go to the third one, which I think was like Balcombe Cone or something like that. Don't know if I'm getting that right. And by that point, let's say we're probably 3 miles in. So less than half of the first 7 miles in. And I'm already starting to feel this is very intense. Apparently this is like the 3rd hardest mountain trail, peak in North Carolina, which I didn't, know until afterwards. And I was feeling it for sure. But we're trekking through. Keep going. Make it to the 4th. I think that one was Potato Hill. And we make it there. We're probably 3.5 or so miles in, maybe close to 4. So I'm like, man, we're barely halfway through, and we're already like 3.5 to 4, probably 3.5 hours in at this point, or at least 3. And so we're a little behind. It's like 45, 50, close to an hour per average per mile. And I'm like, man, we can't obviously do 14 miles today if it's taking us that long. So ran into a couple people on the trail, but we're trudging to the next point. And it was a lot of elevation. I mean, a ton of straight up stuff. It was brutal. Tired. We're 3.5, 4 hours in. So we finally make it to Winter Star, which is the 5th out of the 6 peaks that we're intended to hit. It's right over 5 miles, and it's almost 2 o'clock at this point. So you figure if we had another 2 miles to go, we're already 4 hours in. That's 6 hours, so we'd be closer to 4, and then 7 hours, it'd be 11 o'clock at night. So obviously the math did not work. We're exhausted. Executive decision to make that our last peak and turn around and go back. Fantastic idea. So we hung out for a bit, ate some sandwiches, had a beer, got some water, and then we started the trek back, let's say 2 o'clock-ish. And so, it was nice that initially some of the all that elevation we were able to go down some, but it was a hike, so we went back down and to the next peak and then down again, and I was like, okay, we got to be like 2 miles away. It's like 4 o'clock at this point, or maybe it's 3:30, and it's cold. I mean, it is really, really cold, but the fog had at least cleared, and when you're on a peak, you could see I got some beautiful pictures, so that was awesome. And I was like, all right, cool, we're like 2 miles out. And then we hit a sign that says 3 miles away. I'm like, oh, man. So the time starts playing with you, and as you're exhausted, you got to take more breaks. But we trudged through. We got all the way back to Mount Craig, which was the final one. So we probably had about a mile out, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And I'm like, okay, we're within an hour. And it was like 5:15-ish at that point. So we just slowly make it back. I mean, this was tough. There was some ropes that you had to use to get up and down a couple places with a very long, just rock side, basically. It's the only way you can get up or down. So it was definitely more difficult than I had planned. We did 10, a little over 10 of the 14, hit 5 of the 6 peaks. I'm super happy with it. I definitely only started complaining just at the very end with how tired I was. I did not complain from basically mile 3 on. No, actually I did. I complained the entire time. It was miserable. It was cold. I was tired, and it was definitely, it forced not only your physical, but your mental capacities to get through it. But glad I did it now. As one wise man said, sometimes you have to put yourself out of your comfort zones and push yourself. And I said, I agree with that 100%, but this hike is stupid and I will never do it again because this is not out of my comfort zone. It's just dumb. So I stand by my words. I will definitely go hiking again. I will not do 10 miles and I will not do something that strenuous. It's just not fun for me. Obviously the weather played into it, but a 5 or maybe even a 6 mile hike, 2.5, 3 in, 2.5, 3 back, and you go hike for 4 hours or so, I'm cool with that. I like doing that. That's putting me out of my comfort zone anyway. I've never really hiked. It's only my second big hike I've ever accomplished because I don't ever really think about going hiking. So, but the best part of it was got a weekend to hang out with the guys. Besides the weather and the coldness, that kind of sucked, but it was fun. Finally got back to the campsite. We probably got out of the trail about 6. So it was about 9 hours total. So we probably were moving for at least 7.5 to 8 hours of that with breaks. So it's definitely about a 45 to 50 minute average, which shows the challenge that this was. One of my buddies is a very experienced hiker. I mean, he hikes almost weekly, and he said this was one of the longest ones he had done, and one of the more challenging. And he's younger than me too, and he definitely knew it was a big one. So I had a good time. Got back to the campsite and enjoyed some beers, some more food. One of our buddies was not able to actually do the hike with us, but he came and hung out. Had the chili warm and the cornbread, and we had some drinks less than the night before because we were also exhausted, and it was so cold. It was in the 30s that no one wanted to move away from the fire, and then finally got too cold that we ended up calling it a night, heading to bed. And then in the morning, Jeremy's brother headed back to Pennsylvania pretty early, and then one of our buddies headed back home, and then the 3 of us headed down, and we stopped at this little thing. It's called Hillman beer. And they had this really cool brewery right on the river there in Old Fort. It was about an hour and a half from home. So stopped, hung out for a couple hours, had a beer, and drank, and had some good food, and kind of rested our weary bones after a very long but fun weekend. So got back to Jeremy's house and packed my truck up and then headed here. And of course had to unpack and let stuff dry out because of all the rain. Bunch of laundry and all that good stuff. Wasn't as sore yesterday as I thought I was. I thought I would be. Definitely sore today. Still sore, but I feel good. I was able to ride the bike today, take a walk, do some stretching. So hopefully back on the mend. Maybe back to 9 rounds tomorrow to get back into it. But enjoyed the weekend. Did not enjoy probably about 6.5 of those 10 miles that I did. I'll be completely honest. The weather did play a role. So this one is their Kolsch. It's a 5%er, and this is the one that I had at the brewery yesterday, and it is fantastic. And I'm gonna need some help opening this because my nail is not long enough. So anyways, that's that. Had a great weekend. We'll definitely do something like this again. Just I won't go as long of a hike, so I'll just chill back at the campsite next time. All right, this is the Kolsch Hillman's beer. It's a 5.0. Let's see what it drinks like. Let's see if it's a Sepa. Easy. Oops, got a little spillage going on there. That was fantastic. Really killing it here. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I had this one yesterday, and I know this one is a guzzler. I was sipping on it a little bit, but more easy drinking it, just to enjoy it and enjoy the time, and then trying to obviously hydrate back up from, the 10+ mile hike we done the day before. So it's a good one. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I grabbed one. And like I said, everything I say in this video is 100% accurate. Nothing has been, I can't think of the word. I'm so tired. Nothing has been embellished. And that's all there is to it. So this one's for you, buddy. We're going to find out if this is a Sipa. Easy drinker or guzzler. Cheers. Pretty proud of myself, what I accomplished this weekend. Pretty happy with what we accomplished together, and pretty happy that I did it, and I'll never do it again. That's what I'm most happiest about. Cheers. Wow. That's fantastic. I'm not going to say it's a guzzler because it's so crisp and it's got such a good flavor that I think it's a easy drinker. You can go ahead and definitely easy drink a few of these down, especially after a 10-mile hike. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm sticking to it. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good rest of the week. And again, thanks to the head brewer at the farm for setting this up. He planned this months ago. It was going to be a big group, I think 9. We're going to go originally. It ended up being 5. I mean, life happens fast. Things change and all that good stuff. And I actually missed Michaela's dance competition this past weekend because I had agreed to it before. But lucky enough, her final one is this coming weekend, so I'll get to enjoy that this coming weekend. And I've been to, let's see, if that was her 4th, I think I went to 2 of the 4. I may have missed one other one. But anyways, be that as it may, I will be back. This weekend is Dance Dad. Hopefully not sore anymore. So, all right, everybody. Until next time. Deuces.